Hi, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Whimsy Stamps image called Summer Fairy. Isn't she cute? She's been in my color box for at least forever, and I found her in there yesterday and I was like, oh, we're going to color her. She is just too cute. And then I couldn't resist. I seen this on someone else's blog, this this decorative border here, so I cut that. It's actually two pieces. And I could probably glue this top part together, but I didn't glue it. And it's got a piece of white cardstock in the center holding those two pieces together. And the card is approximately 5 1/4 inches square. So I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. Since we're going to cut her out, we don't need to outline her today. So we're going to do her skin first. For that, we're going to use 11, 21, 00, and 000. And for her cheeks, I'm going to use R02, 12, and 11. So I'm going to start down here on her legs with with E11. And let's do right underneath of her dress and down the back side of her leg. And I'm just barely touching the paper. And I'm going to bring it along her shoe here just a little bit. And then same for this leg. Let's go underneath of her skirt or her dress. And then down the back side of this leg, and I'm going to bring it down here to her shoe. And then I'm going to grab E21, and I just want to soften that edge. So I'm going to touch down on top of my E11, and we're going to feather that out into my white. Same for this side. I'm going to kind of bring that down even with her skirt here, or her dress. And we're going to go right along here. And I think I'll do a little bit here on this side. Next we're going to go with E00. And I just left a little bit of white there. And let's brush down this one. And then along the edge. And then we're going to take our E000 and just sweep right across the entire leg. Same for this side. That helps me smooth out any rough edges. Then we'll go up here and we'll do her arm. So again, I've grabbed E11, and she's got a little bit of her sleeves, or underneath of her sleeve, her arm is showing. I'm going to color that in. And then let's go underneath of this arm and along her elbow. And then for her hand, we'll go next to her hand and around like this. And then we're going to go along her sleeve and the bottom of her arm. Like that. And then we're going to soften that with E21. There's not much room right there, so I'm going to go ahead and take up a little bit of more space on that back side. And then I'm going to do E00. I'm going to go ahead and color this section in. I'll come up here. And then with our E000, we're going to go over the entire thing. And just soften all those edges. And let's go up here and again we'll grab E11 and I'm going to do her neck first. So let's do a little bit underneath there. Like that. And then let's go underneath of her bangs. And I'm going to go down just a little bit here towards her eyelashes. Go under her bangs. Come back around to this side and back down to her neck. Next I'm going to go with E21 and I'm going to cover in her neck, and then I want to soften this edge, so I'm just going to brush right along the edge of that. And then I want to bring this color around the outside of this side. Next we'll go with E00. And then E000. And I'm not going to go all the way to the center. I'm going to leave it a little bit white because I'm going to come back after I do the cheeks and add a little bit more color. So let's go with R02. And then over here, let's do like this. Next is R12. And then R11. And then I'm going to grab E00. And I want to flick over those cheeks, kind of soften those rough edges I got. And I'll go up here. I got a little bit of a line right here above her head too, so let's go ahead and get up there. And then I'm going to take my E000 and go over her entire face. I'm going to try to avoid her eyeballs there so we don't get those all messed up. And I think I'm going to go back and just add a little bit more pink. So let's go with R12. And then R11. And then my E000 just to soften that. Let's do her hair next. For that, we're going to use E25, 23, 31, and 50. And I kind of went in little sections, so I'm going to do that this time as I go along. So I'm going to start up here with these curls in the back. So we're going to do E25 first. And this little section right here goes underneath, so I'm going to paint that all the way in. Same with this one. And let's go down here, and here's another one that's behind. So color that. And then I don't think there's no more that are inside. So now let's give each one of these little sections a little flick of color where it's coming away from her head. And back here where it's dipping down back around again, I'm going to give that a little swoop. Right here. And then let's go ahead and color this little strand here in. Then I'm going to go with E23. So again, I'm just going to flick away from her head. And I'm trying to keep my pen more straight up and down so I get little streaks. This is E31. I'm going to color this one in. And then E50 to fill in the rest of the way in. And then I'm going to go back with my E25 and add some streaks back in. And I want to do these under sections one more time just to darken them up a little bit. Okay, and then we'll move on over here to this top section of her hair. So let's color this little triangle in the back all the way in. And then I want to do some streaks away from her part. And as the hair pieces get a little bit longer, I'm going to bring my streaks up a little bit farther in. That, and then let's do this one. And this section. We'll bring this one over. And let's see, right here it curls. She's got a little piece that's kind of behind, so I'm going to color that in. And then for each of these little curls over here, I want to bring it up from the bottom a little bit where it dips down. And here, this one's behind, so let's color the back of that in. And then go up here. And I think I'll bring this one up just a little bit more. Then we're going to go with E23. So again, let's put some more. We're just going to add on some more color. And she had so much stuff going on here with the curls and everything that I thought it would be easier for me, at least it was easier for me to color it in a bunch of different, just individual sections. So I wasn't getting too carried away. Plus that way I could kind of keep track of where I was at a little bit easier. I think I'll bring, oh, here's a little section. Let's start, this was a little bit of dark here. And then we're going to add E31. So let's go over here. I'm going to fill in this back two sections. And then we want to flick some more. So let's flick a little bit more color. Turn my girl a little bit more. And I try to keep my streaks going in the curve with the curve of her hair. So like here it's going around, so I'm going to swing my pin around. And then I'm going to fill those in with my E50. And you can leave some white in there too if you like that. I can just never make mine look perfect, so I always just cover it all the way in. And then I'm going to go back with my E25 and add some dark streaks back in. Okay, there's the top section. So now let's do this little section here with a little bun. Around here. Get each one of these little swirls. That must be where it's coming around to loop back up onto our little bun here. And then for this little curly Q right here, let's give this one a couple little swoops. Okay, then I'm going to grab E23. E31. And then E50 to go over the entire section. And then I'm going to go back with my E25 and add a few streaks back in. Then let's do these little curls. They're in the back here too. So let's do, I'm going to color this little section in, that little triangle there. And then for her little bun up here, let's go a little bit just with this dark color around these flowers. Add a little bit of shadow. Oh, let's get these little lines too before I forget right here. Give those a little bit of shadow in there. And then we'll go with E23. And I'm just kind of dabbing the color around that little bun there. Next is E31. and then E50 to color it the rest of the way in. And then we'll go back with our E25 and add in some more of those little streaks. It made it easier for me to do them while I was going along rather than later. So I think I'll add one up here. This looks kind of sketchy right here. Then let's go over here to this side. So again, we're going to start with E25. Let's do a little bit where it's coming away. And maybe a couple where that's coming out of her arm. And then these that are swirling out from behind. There's another one that's coming out from behind. And let's work on this. We're just going to work our way down to the bottom. And this one dips behind, so I'm going to go right over on this side. And this one's coming out, where it's coming out from the other side, I'm going to add a little bit there. And then let's work our way down here. And then she's got a couple little sections that are behind, so I'm going to color those in. The little back side of the loops. And maybe this little curl where it curls back. Then we're going to go with E23. We're just going to continue the same process. So we're just going to swoosh down here. Try to keep the streaks small and streaky. These are dipping under, so let's bring a little bit of that color up. Next is E31. And then E50. She's got a lot of stuff going on with her hair. She looks really pretty. And then I'm going to go back again with my E25 to add some of that dark back in. Go over these under sections again. It goes a little bit darker. Let's do the flowers and the leaves in her hair next. For the leaves, we're going to use G82 and G000, and for the flowers, we're going to use Y19 and Y11. I'm going to start with my G82 on my leaves, and I'm just going to give each half of the leaf a little swipe with this. And then I'm going to go over the entire leaf with my G000. And I think I'll go back with my G82 and just add that darkness in on the bottom section again. And for the flowers, we're going to use Y19. And I just kind of took my pen and went in a little swirl here in the center of each flower. And then I swooped over the whole thing with my Y11. And then later I put some Stickles Stardust on top of those little flowers. There's also a little flower down here in her dress. So again, take your Y19 and give it a little swirl in the center. And then go over it with the Y11. And then we're also going to use this yellow over here on these little dots on her wing. So let's do Y19 here on the bottom of each dot. And then Y11 to fill it in. I think for these I'll go back with my Y19 again, like I did with the leaves, and add the dark color back in at the bottom. Next, let's do the blue-green down here on her wings, and you'll want to look at your picture to see which sections that is going to be. We're going to use BG 13, 32, 11, and 10. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the outer sections first. So I'm going to turn my little girl here, and I'm going to take BG 13 first, and let's go right on the edge of each of these, and that includes this one here with the little yellow. Keep turning her here so I can go along the sections. I'm trying not to get any of this really dark blue-green on the inner section. I'm going to go ahead and bring this color down even. That. And then I'm going to take BG 32. Careful not to color your yellow in. And then BG 11. And again, careful around your yellow. And then BG 10 to fill in the ends. And since we're going to color this out section red, if you got a little bit on there, it wouldn't matter too much. If you got a dab out here on this outside. Okay, now I'm going to go with BG 13 again. And I guess I should have colored this one, so let's go ahead and do this little section. And then let's come down here, and we're going to use that on this one right here, where it's coming out away from this leaf, or this little wing. That. Let me turn her so she's right side up so I can see what I'm doing. And then we're going to make these light colored green. So let's do this really long one, our BG 13. And then these are going to be lighter. And then there's a little section right here that we're going to make dark green. And then it comes down out from behind the flower and around these little sections here. And next we're going to go with BG 32. Let me turn my girl a little bit. And then BG 11. And then BG 10 to go over the entire section. Whoops, I forgot this little section over here. Let's grab BG 32. And then BG 11. And then our BG 10 to go over the entire section and fill in that last little white part. Now let's work on the lighter green sections. For that we're going to use BG 11, 10, and 000. And again, see your picture if you need help deciding which ones that would be, or you can paint them whatever one sections you want. So let's go, we're going to start up here. We're going to go BG 11, 11, and then we're going to get, that's red, this one's red, light green, light green, Then we're going to go with BG10. Oops, that one's red. Don't color that one, Heather. Get confused sometimes. And then we're going to finish it off with our BG000. And this one adds a little bit of a blue, a little bit darker blue than the other. So we're going to put that on, and we're just going to swoop all the way over the entire section and fill in our white. You could also leave a little bit of white at the end. That would be really pretty. Give it a little bit of a highlight there at the end of her wings. All right, that leaves us with red, so we're going to use our 27, 35, 43, and 21. And I always leave red to last if all possible because me and red just do not get along. It seems like no matter what, it's supposed to dry instantly, but I always end up putting my hand or my finger on it, and then it gets stuck on my finger, and then I move it, and it's like there's a big, huge red spot in the middle of my paper. So I try to do it last so I can avoid doing that. So I'm going to start with my R27, and let's do this big wing right here first. And try not to get any on your green, because if you do, you're not going to get it off. And then I want to use just a little bit of this around the bottom of the green. So I'm just going to outline right along the edge. I'm trying to be careful, I don't want to touch it. And then over here, again, outlining, clear it up to meet up with this other section. And next we're going to grab R35. Let's do R35. That. And then I'm just going to go right along the edge of that last color. So I'm touching down on top of my R27, and I'm just trying to add just a little bit to that. I'm going to fill in down here because that's just too much. That's too skinny. I can't get any more in there. Next, we're going to go with R43. And then I'm going to use this color to fill in the rest of this outside section. And then I'm going to use R21 to fill in the rest of this little inner wing section. And I'm actually going to use this color too to go over this red, even though it's already covered in, and that will help me smooth out a little bit of those lines that are still there. Okay, so far so good. So let's move on with our R27 again, and I'm going to do, let's see here, this little section right here. So let's give this a few little streaks. That. And then let's go down here and do right here where it's coming away. That. Same for this wing. Let's go ahead and do a little bit right here. And then I want to do a little bit on each of these little, I don't even know what those are called, but these little sections of her wing that are the really skinny parts down here. I want to call them ribbon, but I know that that's not what it is. And then for this, let's go right next to our green. Again, I'm trying to be careful. We don't want to touch it. Next is R35. And R43. I'm going to fill this little ribbon section in. And then we're going to go fill in the rest of it with R21. Okay, so much for the wings. Now let's go do her shoes. So again, I'm going to start with R27. Let's do a little dab right here. And then this section, we're going to go away from her foot. Down here. Bring this shoe around a little bit. R35 is next. R43. And then R21 to go over the entire shoe. And if you wanted to darken them up, you could go over it a second time. I'm liking it like that, so I'm going to leave those. And we're going to hop up here and do her dress. So again, start with R27. Right here is a little bit of hair. Let me grab, what was the darkest hair color? Oh, E25. So I'm going to color in this little section. I don't know why I didn't color that in. Right here. That's got to be hair, since it's behind her neck there, and it's all hanging down. And then let's start again with our R27. A little bit here. And then we'll do a little bit in the crease of her arm. And where the other dress is touching. Then I want to go down this way. And again, where her hand is touching her dress. And then up this little seam. And then for the back of her arm, I'm going to do a little swirl back here. Like that. And then let's do a little bit underneath of her arm, underneath on the dress. And I'm going to bring this down and a wave right there. And then I also want to do each of these lines. And maybe a little bit right like that. Okay, R35's next. Let's fill in this side of the collar. Bring a little bit of this onto this side of the sleeve. We're going to go up away from her arms. Come around the edge of this flower. Broaden these lines. Add a little bit to the back. Then we'll grab R50 or R43. And we're just going to work our way down to the bottom of the dress. And then we're going to take R21 and fill it in. I'm going kind of in little circles, kind of swirl those colors all together. If it's not blending very well, you could also do tip to tip to R43 and soften a little bit of those edges. I think I'll grab R43 for the bottom here again. I'm going to get it wet. And then go over it a second time with my R21. So there's our beautiful summer fairy all colored up. Didn't she turn out pretty? I love her hair. It's just got so much going on. It's just awesome. I love that. And again, here is the finished card. So on her, I have added some Sharpie white paint pen to her eyeballs there because I got them colored in a little bit and I wanted to show them off a little bit more. I put a few little dots on her dress, and then each of these green sections I dotted a little bit of white dots around in there. And then I put some Stickles Stardust on these flowers and all the red sections of these wings and the dress flower. And then, of course, I used my Spica clear glitter pen in her hair to add some sparkles. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.